Hey guys, how are we all? So today is Boxing Day. Yesterday I had a little bit of a scare for whatever reason. I ended up in the hospital. My chest was tightening up here and here after I think I've eaten one too many oysters, and I've had some sort of reaction to the amount of oysters I ate. All good. The CGU test, I think that's what it's called, that the paramedics give me, said I was having a heart attack, but I'm 34 years old, I'm not having a heart attack, I'm all okay. So anyway, today we're on our way up to Exmouth, so we're just getting Fiona ready. This time of year up in northwest WA, environment's very harsh, so we always make sure we've got fresh water with us. We've got I think it's a 30-litre tank on the side of Fiona, so we're just draining her from last year and chucking some fresh water in, because you never know what sort of dramas you may encounter. You may burst a tyre, you may lose your keys, which I've done before. So yeah, you want to make sure you've got fresh water on board, and you always prepare for the worst. Even though you don't expect the worst, you never know what may happen on these long journeys. It's 12 hours up to Exmouth, so we'll probably find somewhere tonight, drive 6 hours, camp, and then get up in the morning and camp for 6 hours and get to Exmouth. We have shade cloths in here in the side of Fiona. That's to go underneath our swag, where we swag up to stop all your sand getting inside your swag. Doesn't necessarily stop the insects or the bugs, but sand's a big one. You don't want lots of sand in your swag, it's very uncomfortable. This time of year, the coppers, they do double demerits. So if you get caught speeding, you will lose demerit points. However, you will lose double demerits. If you're on your mobile phone, I think that's instant dismissal. I think it's six points for double demerits. It's 6 points normally. Or 4 is it? 4 normally. Lauren's just clarified that. It's 4 points normally. So you get caught double demerits, you're going to instantly lose 8 demerit points. So we have a lot of road accidents in WA, especially heading out of Perth this time of year, and also Easter. So it's always to be on the safe side. So we just use a elastic net, just to hold everything in, hold the swag, hold the chairs. You never know what can happen when you're driving. And then I use a ratchet strap just to ensure a bit more safety, a bit more secure. We don't want nothing flying out and hitting the car behind us. They could have kids in the car, they could be towing a caravan, and we don't want to cause any road accidents, especially this time of year at Christmas time. You want to be as safe as you can, because you're not the only ones on the road, so you need to be courteous and mindful. We're taking fire extinguisher up there. There's total fire ban up in Australia, in WA at the moment, summertime, total fire ban. It doesn't take much for a fire to start. So we had a close encounter a couple of years ago where the electrical component on the fridge there, it was plugged in and it caught fire, and it was next to the generator there and a tank of unleaded fuel, and it caught on fire. I had to quickly rip the cable out, and it was smoking, it was on fire, so I got a little bit scary there. And so from that point, we decided to carry a fire extinguisher, because again, you don't know what is around the corner, what the unexpected may throw at you this time of year with the heat. And I certainly don't want to be one for causing any fires or any loss of property or lives. So it's always to be on the safe side. So I think this is empty by the sound of it. So I'll tighten the valve up, and we'll run over and we'll fill this up. We'll fill him up. Fill this up. Drop off some prawns to our mate's house, because we had a lot of prawns that we left over yesterday that we didn't take to my brother's for Christmas. So we'll drop the prawns off, and we'll be hitting the Frog and Toad, and hopefully we'll be in I know we might head up to Kalbarri tonight and stay in Kalbarri for the evening. It's about midday now, so by the time we get there, 6 o'clock, pub opens, time for a frothy, chill out. Might see the butcher, stay at the butcher's and have an early night and get ready to hit the road tomorrow for her. So we're about an hour and a half out of Perth. We're going to head for a place called Kalbarri. It's a little coastal town, and last year it got absolutely obliterated by a cyclone. And I can't recall the cyclone's name. Cyclone Seroja come through Kalbarri, been a coastal town. Cyclones come through and it's ripped a lot of roofs off Kalbarri, it's obliterated a lot of the shopping centres, some of the homes, some of the places, but the place got rebuilt generally pretty fast. But last year we come back and we stayed at with the butcher at his place last year on around the 7th of January on the way back down to Perth, and there were still a few places that were obliterated. So anyway, the butcher, he's a character. He's the local butcher. He's mad as a cut snake, and so we're going to give him a call and let him know that we're coming to Kalbarri tonight, and when we get into town, see if he fancies going for a frothy, because he's a character. So Lauren, let's give the butcher... Guys and girls and guys, so there's two ways to get up north, sort of from Perth. We're on the Brand Highway. It's sort of inland a bit from your second option, which is Indian Coast Drive, or yeah, I think it's Indian Coast Drive or West Coast Highway, Indian Coast Drive.
Indian Ocean Drive.
Indian Ocean Drive. Thank you, Lauren. Indian Ocean Drive. Now, Brand Highway takes you out to Geraldton, and then Indian Ocean Drive takes you up to Geraldton as well. They sort of merge at the one point, and then from there, I believe, it goes to Great Northern Highway.
Yep.
It goes to Great Northern Highway, which then takes us all the way. I think that will take you all the way up to the Northern Territory, up towards Darwin. So this is Australia in the summertime on the Brand Highway. I done a drive in July up the Great Northern Highway from Perth, and everything is such luscious and green, and then it doesn't take long, 6 months later, everything is very, very dry here now. There's been bushfires where there's been idiotic people have had a cigarette and they flick the cigarette butt out the window. That's a big no-no in Australia this time of year. It's a big no-no anyway, because we don't want to litter in Australia. We want to keep Australia beautiful. But yeah, that's one of the reasons a lot of fires have started, is from people throwing their dirty, disgusting, filthy habit out the window. When we get further up north along the road, you'll see kangaroos, you'll see rabbits, you'll see foxes, you'll see goats. I don't think we've seen camels.
Emus.
We've seen emus. We've seen loads of emus. And it's really dangerous to it's really dangerous to be driving still at dusk, just as the sun's going down. That's when the animals start coming out, your emus and your kangaroos. So that's when a lot of car and motor vehicle accidents happen, is at dusk and also at dawn when the sun rises. Again, the animals are moving, looking for their breakfast or looking for a new piece of shelter for that day coming. So yeah, if you do come to Australia, you are going up the Brand Highway, up the Indian Ocean Drive. Just be careful on your hours of driving, because yeah, dusk and dawn, you'll get a lot of animals crossing the roads, and you hit something like that, man, and you don't have insurance, and your car's knackered, your holidays just becomes a nightmare from hell. So that's one advice, is don't drive it 7 p.m. to sort of 8:30 p.m. and don't drive it from 4:30 in the morning to about 6 in the morning. Other than that, you're all good. I can do about 10 hours driving. 11, I think I've pushed 11. Have I done 11 before?
No, I think it's 10.
I've done 10. If I've done 11, I'll be back in Qatar anyway. What's the point of driving 11 hours? I could get on a flight, I'll be back in Doha, mate. Back with a dog, going shopping for you. Yeah, I can do about 10 hours, but we like breaking the drive up. So we're heading to Kalbarri tonight. I think when we get into Kalbarri, we'll be running a little bit late behind my own advice. Dusk. We may see a few kangaroos and emus as the sun sets. If we do, we'll try to get a bit on footage for you. But yeah, this is Australia anyway, so the further north we get, the more drier it gets. You do get some good sunsets here on the west coast. No matter where you are, all along the west, you'll see a nice sunset, especially when it's a little bit cloudy like this. We've got a little bit of overcast. The sunset's fantastic. We might be able to get a good sunset tonight, actually. But this is a terrible time to drive. I'll say if we got on the road a bit earlier, if you're heading north, and then to get to Kalbarri, you've got to cut in and start heading west. Obviously, sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So as your direction is going west, you do have the sun going down. So hence the sunglasses still. But yeah, it's a nightmare. It really is. Guys and girls and guys, welcome to the Western Australian beachside town of Kalbarri. So Kalbarri is a holiday destination. A lot of people come up to Kalbarri for the holiday period. Cyclone Seroja went through here last year and tore a load of roofs off a lot of houses. So coming into town, we'll see if we can see any of the destruction. However, I can only assume, and again, I'm not one that likes to assume anything, but I can only assume that a lot of the damage has been fixed. I know there was, this time last year, obviously being a builder, I was having conversations with a few people about coming up and about jumping on. I've got a sort of in business with the re-roofing guys, and sort of jumping on board and doing some re-roofing for the tin roofs that have blown off and gone wherever they've gone walkabouts, thanks to the cyclone. Now, didn't hear anything back about it. It sort of fizzled out, but I know there was a lot of I did speak to a few people about it, and the logistical side of things was a complete and utter nightmare. Trying to get materials in Perth during the alleged COVID pandemic was hard enough getting them in Perth, let alone the logistical side to get them a 6-hour drive up to Kalbarri. So yeah, I think that was causing a lot of grief, and hence a lot of delays on people getting their roofs fixed. What we got there? Oh, well, there's one, for example, that's got no roof. Can you see that? There's another one that's just halfway through being re-roofed. And look at the coast, beautiful coastline here. We're still probably two or 3 minutes out from the main part, like coming into the town centre. But this is just a little small introduction. I would highly advise anyone that's watching, if you do come to WA, just stop into Kalbarri. It's a lovely little spot. We love it here. But welcome to Kalbarri. So this is the main little town area here. So you've got the Kalbarri little bay here, and then you've got the
300 meters. Turn right onto
these re-roofs. There's all re-roofs here. That's obviously a new home. Let's cut the re-roofs there. You've got Kalbarri. Then you've got the river, and the river. Look at the river goes all the way up. And you get crabs up there at a certain time of year. And I've been out there with the butcher, and it's good. Here we still got. Look, one here.
Turn right onto Porter Street.
You be quiet, please. Little Miss Ways. Cancel that. What we got here? Well, this is the pub anyway, so I'm going to stop for a frothy. So anyway, welcome to Kalbarri. It's an actual beautiful spot, and like I say, if you do get the chance, let's see what the sunset's like. No, it's too cloudy. If you do get the chance, if you're in WA, I would recommend heading up to Kalbarri. Anyway, time for a frothy, and let's ring the butcher.